Yeah, I won't get any shade protection. Oh, okay, no parking here, back corner. 2 hour parking here, back to corner. I think maybe they mean that curve up way down there. 2 hour parking. Why they don't regulate parking for the library is it's a little bit curious. And if I try to park across the river, especially over here, it's just all residential, which would be sketchy. So the shade is slowly creeping over. It's 1 o'clock, and yeah, by 2 it should be completely covered. Keep my windows down. Mosquitoes are kind of bad, but at least I got the screens to block them. Alright, so I just want to talk a little bit about my use of vinegar and baking soda, because they've become a big part of my lifestyle now. I keep the baking soda in this peanut container and the vinegar in this container. This is the amount, the total amount I keep by a box at a time when this gets low. And I've decided to just stick with 3 bottles roughly of this. I'll buy the bottle because I upscaled my use of vinegar and then downscaled, because I was washing clothes with the vinegar for a little bit, but I found that water gets the dirt out too, so I don't need nearly as much vinegar as I thought I would. And I'm making this video to just focus on how I apply it to my body. And it's just, it seems strange. Nobody talks about it. And so I'm trying to understand what's going on. It seems like this baking soda is best to apply to the tops of my ears because they get kind of bad. Alright, they get itchy, they get something in there that I smell. And so I apply this. I need to apply it every day during the summertime when it gets sweaty. It's the sweat that builds up on the top of the ear, making it itchy, and this seems to help that. But also under my armpits too, I take a pinch, and just like that, I just kind of apply it directly to the pit. Try to do that every day, just a little bit. I see, and that's what's weird. That's the extent of my use of this baking soda. Is just applying it to the tops of the ears, pretty much the back of the ears, wipe the excess, and also the armpits. And for the vinegar, I think that applies to the lower half of my torso, because applying the baking soda anywhere down below, like even the pits, it just it doesn't seem to help. And I'm getting the impression that maybe I have different bacteria in on different parts of my body. I mean, my body's all the same skin, but the skin is slightly different. I mean, fingertip skin is different than knee skin, right? It's all skin, but there's different parts of that skin. And I think, I don't get bacteria on my, or I don't get just overgrowth of anything on my hands, but I do on the tops of my ears, because the skin, it's folded, it's different. I don't have to grip anything with my ear, so it's going to be different. It's going to have different demands. So I don't shower. I haven't showered in a long time. I'm just relying on vinegar and baking soda, but in unique ways. The baking soda is just for the upper half of my body, and that's mainly just the pits and the ears. I do not consume baking soda. I can't take salt. Salt causes my heart to skip, even just a little bit. I got a sensitivity to salt, and I definitely don't consume vinegar. I don't consume it anymore. I tried, but it just doesn't work out. I was never good with alcohol either. Just don't like that, drinking that acid, apple cider vinegar, whatever. But I've noticed the vinegar it doesn't do the same trick in my pits as baking soda does. They say that you could get rashes from the baking soda, and I'm not getting rashes. So I think baking soda is a bit of a success for me. And I mean, it is recommended that you could use it for your armpits if you don't get rashes. I'm not getting rashes, so I think it's a legible choice. But anywhere below, in the crotch, uh, I was trying the baking soda, but it just I think it's like there's an alkaline versus acid ratio, and it seems like the upper half torso responds better to the alkalizing effects of the baking soda, but the lower half responds better to the acidifying effects of vinegar. Okay, so I use vinegar for the crotch, between the cheeks, in that just middle region, and then on my feet, the toes, because I used to have, and I could say that it kind of comes back every so often. I used to have toe fungus between the toes that would itch and smell, and I'd itch it enough to cause irritation and itch away the skin, to the point where then, yeah, it's bleeding. I let that go for years, just between two toes, the pinky toe, the end toes, on one foot. I had this itching toe fungus problem, and I didn't know what to do. I tried everything but vinegar. I tried salt, and that's the thing. That's what I'm getting to a little bit, is that salt didn't seem to help. When I was traveling through the desert, the dry conditions of the desert made the itch pretty much non-existent. But now that I'm getting into more of a wetter climate, the itch can come back. That threat can come back, and I'm finding that using vinegar just knocks it out. Vinegar seems to knock out all the problems from the lower half down, in targeted spots. And it's interesting to me how that works. But I'm going with it just based on my experience. I don't know if other people have experienced that too, but vinegar is not something you apply everywhere. Something that you can apply to a lot of places. Like I don't really get a lot of opportunities to wash my clothes, like for access to water and stuff. And I'll apply vinegar to the clothes when things are like gunky and stuff. I'll apply vinegar. It's better than the baking soda. The vinegar takes away that gunky feeling that accumulates in the sleeves or just anywhere. Anywhere I get an itch, I don't turn to the baking soda. Anywhere I get an itch, like on my knee, and it just, like, I itch it once, and then the itch comes back, I'm like, that's it. I apply vinegar to it through the clothes, and that makes the itch go away. The vinegar is a bit of an anti-itch, but the baking soda is not. So I guess if I got an itch in my armpits, yeah, I might apply vinegar, but as a maintenance, it's going to be baking soda. The itch between the toes, that's vinegar. So it's a give and take. Both of these substances I use separately. I don't combine them, and I'll use them separately on my body, and it's really boggles my mind how one seems more effective than the other, because I have tried, and like I mentioned, I tried the salt, just regular salt, and even the baking soda between the toes, and that just brings the itching out even more, because the type of fungus between my toes is different. It requires acidic application, not alkaline application. Whereas it seems the fungus behind my ear and maybe even in my armpits requires an alkaline application. And in the crotch area, I think that requires an acidic application, not alkaline. That's so. That's the conclusion I'm coming up with. It's like acid. Like I need more acid applications from my toes to my waist, and then more alkaline applications up here. But I'll use vinegar for the clothes and for itches. So it's a weird balance there. Yeah, when I get an open cut, I'll apply vinegar to it. I won't apply baking soda. At least I'm not at that phase yet. For cuts and whatever skin breakages, I turn to vinegar, not baking soda. So there's that. There's things to work out. I have to see what other future injuries I may get to see if that any of those injuries change my mind. But I'm kind of just I'm kind of falling into this belief system with the applications of these right now. And this is where I'm at. Those are inmates. Two guys in orange suits. The dude is like a cop or a guard driving them. They come up to the ski hill to do something in this building at early time. So the shelving I use for cooking is the roof. I cook some eggs, keep the paddles up there, and the floorboard. It's my shelving while I cook, and I'm warming up vegetables from yesterday. I cooked them with chicken. I want to boil them a little bit just to be safe. Alright, so I'm bringing coconut oil and olive oil back into my diet. They are not to be consumed without cooking, though. They're cooking oil and that's it. Cold pressed. Both of them are cold pressed. And that gives me some confidence in them. I want cold press. They call it expeller pressed on the coconut oil. That way I can cook eggs with the olive oil. I'll do the popcorn with coconut oil. And I'll just see how my heart reacts. If it starts skipping beats or feels like it's struggling, then I'm gonna have to stop it. But it's a test to bring it, see if I can bring it back in. Right.
Which is what you got to. Yeah, I see you go. That explains a lot of things.
Alright, I'm in the downtown and they got some interesting organizations. They're not for profit. They're not for profit, that's for sure. Uniting Three Fires Against Violence, advocating education. The Foundry pop-up shop is now permanently closed. Reopen the Foundry. Why are they saying that? This is not saying that it's the Foundry. Downtown they got these Indian health support buildings, and I've been seeing a lot of reference to Indians, also references to Amish, and I gotta admit that near the library I actually saw a cart and buggy, so there's a mixture of different cultures here that are very unique. I mean, we're next to the Canadian border. There's a lot of let's call them Native Americans, because Indians are really are growing in population in America. So Native Americans, I think, have some reservation land around here, possibly. Amish have some farmland, I believe. They do have those 5 spaces at the Walmarts that they can park their buggies at. Canada's just north of here, across a pretty wide river. The only way to get across it is by a bridge, and I don't think they allow people to walk across. Yeah, just a couple of blocks from the library. Oh, they're still open. Really? I got a sign that says they're still open, and it's like 8 at night. But I'm guessing that's because, yep, it's for corrections. It's for putting money into inmates. Oh, no, that wasn't open. Okay, so they just didn't switch the sign. But yeah, this is a court. So you'd have to wait till they're open to be able to give money to an inmate. Send money the easy way. Probably do it online, I bet. Yeah, I'm just walking north towards the river, the border, having a look around. And I think things that are interesting, the various signs, click it or ticket, day and night, for seatbelts, no weapons permitted in the courthouse. They're gonna search your parcels. I waited until the evening time to walk downtown. I wanted everything closed pretty much. The library stays open until 9 p.m. while everything else now at this hour is pretty much closed, and it's getting darker out. It's a good opportunity to look around when things have settled down. The activity in the town has settled down. People leave the government buildings like this courthouse and the businesses nearby. But at least, you know, the library's open to 9. It's not that important that the library be open at 9, but it's pretty nice. I could just take a little break at the library just after walking around a little bit. Wi-Fi works just fine outside of the library. They got one of them old Greek statues in the front of this courthouse. Oh wow, what an amazing statue there. Lady Liberty holding the two pans, balancing them. But it's a statue that's jutting out from the wall. They had to hoist that up there. Oh yeah, no overnight parking. And then just permit parking. Oh, the Border Patrol, that's right. I did see something about Border Patrol downtown. But I didn't really look at it too closely, but now I'm seeing it. Seeing the Border Patrol vehicles, the familiar green stripe of the Border Patrol. And over here, the Wolf of Rome feeding two babies. Statue is an exact replica of the original. It stands in the Capitol Museum of Rome, Italy. The statue depicts the Roman legend of twin sons. Okay, Romulus and Remus. Okay. The exact size. Well, that's interesting. And then they got signs here in memory of Abel Bingham. That's a neat little statue. It looks old too, like maybe put up in the early 1900s or so. And then another statue, the crane of the Sault. That's a crane. Yeah, I've seen that crane around of the Sault. It's like, my impression is that, yeah, North Shore. My impression is that they prefer the Great Lakes. Oh, the tree kind of blocks the view of the Lady Liberty on the top of the courthouse. But keep the tree up regardless. Leno Pianosa, woodcarver. Okay, just a little plaque for Leonard. Okay, and then I'm crossing the road from the courthouse. They have paid parking, and I'm looking at Border Patrol vehicles. Just want to get a quick recording of this. Honor first. Border Patrol. And they got a few vehicles around. No trespassing, U.S. government property. And they got a significant fence with pointy top. I mean, this isn't just some chain link fence. This is a thicker, heavier duty fence they have to protect. Yeah, it's the office for Border Patrol here. And I mean, we're right at the border. This isn't like in Texas where they'll have offices like 100 miles north of the border. I haven't seen any offices 100 miles south of the border of Canada. No, we're right up on the border here. Another entrance gate. It says Border Patrol Station, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And the only way to get in this way is through the gates, through the fence. They got a walk-in gate over here. So 2 drive-in gates, 1 walk-in. Push the button to enter. Oh, they're hiring for careers. Okay. think this is a museum, possibly the Tower Museum. They have these towers, like maybe to overlook the Canadian border as something symbolical. Because I've seen something like that in North Dakota, the tower, tall tower. See the American flag on it. But I've never really noticed anything in Canada that's related to a tower. It's not exactly a hostile border, but there's tension. I feel tension. There's just no going further north because of the tension of Canada's scrutiny of visitors. Gotta prove. I mean, they'll look at me and they'll want to know how I make any money, if I can support myself in Canada. They're gonna have those high standards of income. Unlike, why is there so much overgrowth on the stairs? Looks like people live here, they just don't use the stairs. Why is there so much fence here? This looks almost like historic Water Street. It almost looks like a park. But they got a big fence around it to prevent me from getting to the river. There must be access to the rivers somewhere. Tall monuments for Canada to see. Ancient burial ground. Okay. Sent the bird to make its abode on Earth. Okay. They're claiming that St. Mary's Church was the first building built here in 1668, which is a wooden structure. A century later, the French fort stood here. So they went through some changes because it's a big brick building with a little golf putt spot over here next to the river. And maybe this wooden structure is symbolic of the old fort, the old church, something related to the history of what was here. Yeah, fort. Okay, there's a sign over here that says it's a fort. I don't know why they're saying we can't have firearms here. The burial ground is over here. They got a sign to read, but this fence is preventing us from getting close to it. So that's really weird. Yeah, it's just a wall of wooden poles here on display. Very old looking. Like, I don't think that these, oh, and a nice apple tree. I don't think that they were the original poles. I think they're replica. And yeah, they just only did that partial thing. There's quite a few people out, quite a few young people out. Fort Brady on July 6, 1822, a battalion of American troops under Colonel Hugh Brady reached the Sault, thereby reconfirming the assertion of American authority made by Lewis and Clark. Okay, and yeah, that's what you got to do. Otherwise, Britain would have taken it over across the river. But still, we could have pushed further in, I'm sure. The river in Canada is across the river. They got their own way of doing things that I'll never see because I don't see how I could ever get over there. And now I'm in areas where Canadians are actually south of me. That seems troubling. In my opinion, Canada should all be south, or all be north of America. Every inch of Canada should be north of America. We shouldn't have this Ontario south of us. Canada is north, US is south. That should be how it works out. There's significant construction, or at least just a lot of cranes on display here next to this park. And yeah, this tugboat over here, big wide river. just a park with a lot of activity. Cruise ship maybe off in the distance.